Divine Feminine's podcast and channel. I am your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, it's our part 2 for the 2024 tribute, and part 1 was the numerology of 2024, and part 2, this episode, is around the astrology of 2024. High level, what can we expect in the astros, and what can we know about these planetary movements, alignments, and how can we really just use that as a GPS for ourselves and to be more aware of ourselves and, help ourselves in that journey of 2024 to align and get the most out of these changes, shifts, movements. So before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We are Divine Feminines on all major podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. And we're also on TikTok and Instagram, more actively on Instagram, the Divine Feminines with a Z at the end. Why like and subscribe to this channel? Well, we have everything for everyone. Not everything for everyone, but the content, the inspiration, and the goodness and good vibes to give you inspiration and encourage you on your journey. If you want to become better in yourself, connect more with your mind, body and soul, balance your inner feminine and masculine, because we all have that, and find that self-union, we are sharing a lot of content here and topics around how to become more in your power, step more into your power, connect with yourself. Also, I love the moon, so we always have new moon, full moon, magic, manifestations, and I talk about the different portals that are coming up. So welcome, and welcome back to all of my ongoing subscribers, followers, and welcome to anyone new that's joined and that's here for 2024. Look, there's loads of different episodes. They're quite timeless, especially the ones that are not around certain moon cycles and things like that. So go and have a look and see what catches your fancy. But back to the topic of 2024. So if you haven't already seen the first episode of this, the first part, I talk about the numerology of 2024. It's a number, year 8, the universal year 8. So if you haven't yet checked that out, I really recommend you watch that. You can watch either in whichever order. It's not really anything specific that you have to watch one before the other. They're both sort of specifically around the different areas of numerology and astrology. So look, I want to go into some of the key movements in astrology this year. I don't claim to be an astrologer or a professional astrologer, but I love the astros and I use it all the time to just help myself be more aware of what's going on in the skies. And it helps so much, especially with the moon cycles. And I just genuinely really find it interesting and insightful. And so that's why I wanted to do a high level bit around astrology. Now, if you really want to go into depth, what I really recommend is that as we approach those different times of the year, seek out videos and content by astrologers that are focusing in at that time of the year, and they'll do more deeper dives. They maybe even go into some zodiac signs and stuff like that. But to just set the scene, we have a really interesting shift. One of the biggest astrological shifts is the tiny little planet Pluto. I don't say tiny little planet, but it's a big energy Pluto. It's death, rebirth, transformation. Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn for the last 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. So think back to 2008. And now if you have got an awareness of your natal chart, think about where Capricorn is in your natal chart in the 12 houses. For example, my Capricorn sits in the house 7, which is all about relationships, intimate business relationships, romantic, personal relationships, those types of dynamics. And can I tell you, since 2008, I have been on a roller coaster ride of my relationships and connections to business, to friends, to family, to romantic partners. I've been married and divorced. I've had a few other relationships in that time. So yeah, can I just tell you, I have learned a lot. Now, when Pluto's in Capricorn, Capricorn's all about structure, about society, about almost like pre-built structures and beliefs and organization. So wherever that is in whatever house of yours. So for example, just to give you some context, when I say Capricorn was in my house 7, one of the biggest insights I had was that it was about marriage and my concept and belief about marriage. Like the traditional sense of what marriage stands for and what society says, I went down that path. I followed that thing. I read the book and just kind of followed what everyone else was doing. Didn't really question it. Just thought, well, that's what you do. And if you think about it, none of us really get educated around these things. So you go into it, and then I was like, whoa, this, as I was in that space, I was like, but this doesn't resonate for me. Like, I don't, you know, now I can say this in hindsight, but I was starting to realize that I don't really agree with this whole concept of marriage. Don't get me wrong, I believe in union. I do believe in life partnerships and two people coming together. But the way the world and society has framed it, I don't agree with it. Like, I have a very different view, and I think that it's more healthier of a view. It's not this sort of stereotypical, the man does this, the woman does this. Things are very black and white, because that's what I think it is. So that's one of my insights and learnings and wisdom that I've grown to learn. And it's through the lessons, it's through the karma, it's through definitely doing some past life contractual work. It's definitely that my soul said, I want to come and experience these experiences. And likewise, your soul will have as well. So wherever Capricorn sits, you know, it could be in your house 1 of you. If you're a Capricorn rising, more particularly, or if you're a Capricorn sun, it can still be you, but more so the risings. It'll be about you, what you stand for, how you connect with yourself, your belief system, how you regard yourselves, how you show up, your body, your belief around, you know, what you want for yourself. And it goes deep into the you and then how you're showing up. But it could be in your house of career and Capricorn is structure and everything. You might have decided, if it was in your house of career, well, not decided, but through this time, you might have actually realized, I don't believe in these systems. I don't want to work the corporate game. Many healers, those that are on this more new earth path trajectory, are sort of shying away from that stuff and going down a route of holistic healing, doing different types of modalities and building businesses around this, right? Mind, body and soul. So maybe Capricorn was in your career house. Maybe you've seen many changes. Maybe there was redundancies, shifts at work, businesses collapsing, you like bankrupting your business. It could be anything. But what Pluto does is go in and transform and change, right? So whatever it's doing it for the better. And when I look back at my situation, I'm like, well, those 15 years were like, whoa, a lot, like friends, business relationships, family, romantic, the whole thing just, it kept going in for death rebirth. It kept burning and burning and burning, and every time a new thing. And you know, at the end of that, I was like, does this mean that everyone that comes in my life is just going to be here for a little bit and then go? Because that's how it felt. But I've done a lot of the work, I've learned a lot, and so will have you. So know that as we shift out of this cycle, this 15-year cycle, blessings are going to come if we've learned our lessons and we've taken on that wisdom and we're showing up differently in a more connected and balanced way and doing it in honor of ourselves and our sovereignty. So we will receive rewards, blessings, goodness. I'm definitely up for more harmony. I've definitely been seeing it in my connections, but more harmony and those flourishing and not just things burning all the time and people coming and going, because that can be quite chaotic, and whatever that means for you. So if you have learned a lot from these 15 years and you're able to apply it and you're not repeating cycles, you will see the reward and the benefit. And just on the collective front, look how much we've seen in terms of society and businesses changing, the way we show up. We don't always have to go to work now. I can work from the jungle, a corporate job when I want to, or when I can, if I don't need to be there in person or speaking at a public event. So things have changed a lot. And a lot of old ways of doing business or old society frameworks and community ways of doing things have transformed for the better. And I think it was needed. It was needed on a collective front, because if we're going into this new age and we're in this new earth, we can't carry that dense energy and the way of doing things in a very sort of black and white, old school, patriarchal, and that's a lot what was burning. A lot of patriarchal systems were burning through, right? So that's what Pluto was doing. But now Pluto, on the 20th of January, so this month, is moving into Aquarius. And Aquarius is a whole different sign. It's all about, I like to call Aquarius the rebel, the innovator, the one that just goes outside of the pack and just really leads. If you know an Aquarius, you probably think they're quite daring, they're quite out there, they're quite different. My brother's an Aquarius. He's very out there and he does things his way, and I admire it. And we all have Aquarius in us in our chart, so see where Aquarius is in your chart, and then think about Pluto being there, right? So it could be in your house 7, and so there might be a massive shift in relationships, but it will bring change, death, rebirth with innovation, new ways of doing things. You know, like I really feel like the Capricorn was like the old world, and the Aquarius is like the new world, and it's going to be in there for like how many years now? I think it's like till 2044. So it's a long time. It's a long time, guys. Like it's 2043. So what we talking? 20 years? It's I'm gonna be with a stick. So this is a really exciting time. If we can really embrace it, I am so excited for this. Like, and there's going to be a lot of transformation, of course, but transformation for the better and innovation. So expect to see, even on the collective front, the world being more, going towards more innovation, more change making for the better. And things that were maybe seen as like, that's weird, that's alternative, oh, that's woo-woo, that's spirituality, becoming more of the norm and becoming more of the way life is adjusting to, the way life is pivoting to. So absolutely going to be a very exciting time. 20 years is a long time. I really, really, really recommend that you find out where Aquarius is in your chart. And you will most definitely receive a lot of change and innovation to that house. If it's in your house 2 of possession and money, and how you your relationship with yourself, it's house 2, it's possession, but the way you value yourself and the value you put on yourself and how you look at that, this is going to become very innovative. It's going to transform massively. The way that you make money will change as well. Mine's 8, and it's actually it's a money house too, but it's also money, inheritance, sex, and also other people's things. And so there's a lot that's going to change there. And it's also the house of death, because it's run by Scorpio. So yeah, I didn't want to get. I'm not scared about it. There's a lot of things that I know that can happen there, and I don't want you guys to be scared of it, because life is a cycle, and we're not here forever. And so just got to ride the wave and be present and enjoy every moment, and just affirm, that we are human beings. So we need to remind ourselves to be. So Aquarius again is the water bearer, pouring into the collective, its sacred vessel. So it isn't just water that air sign is sharing with the masses, it's consciousness. So we're going to see mass awakening, new streams of inspiration, and simply yet powerfully a new way of doing things. It's really exciting time. So, I'm really keen on doing a lot more corporate work from the jungle with my teams, and I think that is most definitely possible when I think about these things. So, and we've been set up with a good change in terms of the way we're doing things in society, and structures have changed and destructed and rebirthed and resurrected into something new and more meaningful for this time on earth. So there is going to be a lot of transformation of power dynamics, and we're invited to really reconsider the status quo and establish foundations and what it means to society, because this is where you're going to, this is year 8, and I connect it because year 8 is also 8 means stepping into your personal power, And so the Aquarius energy is very much like that rebel, but rebel in a good way. Like, I know who I am. I'm going to be authentically me, and I'm in my power. And being in your power is not, let me just get this straight. Being in your power is not like, I am powerful and telling everyone you're powerful and being rude to everyone. And that's tyrant energy, to be honest. And it's kind of like dictator energy. That's quite like, if you know tarot, the Emperor card in reverse, very sort of distorted. Being in your power is just knowing you, being true to you, and as you show up, you respect others. You know, there's no manipulation, there's no control. And I do feel that these next 20 years is really going to test people where they have, I'm going to say this, everyone's got some ounce or shred of narcissism in them. Everyone's got the ability to control and to manipulate. Everyone's got that. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that we are going to become more self-aware. When you step into your power, you take accountability for yourself and your behaviors. And if we're trying to do things or manifest things or, you know, bring in change for our lives and to fulfill our dreams, we've got to do it from a place of truth, from love, and from honesty and authenticity. If we're doing it in a low vibrational way and we're trying to manifest in a low vibrational way, Pluto is going to come and burn up your backside. So I just said that, because Pluto won't mess around with that. So you are also being watched by Pluto, because Pluto is going to come in, and if you're self-aware and you're working with it, then you're going to be on a good step. So this is why I'm doing this video, because I'm like, be in control in a good way. Like, not control, trying to control everything. Be in your power, take accountability, take responsibility, and be aware of how you are with yourself. When you have that, when you show up in a good energy. And you show up in an honest way. So, what else is happening in 2024? The eclipse seasons. Well, we always have eclipses. And so we're going to continue the eclipses on the Aries North Node and the Libra South Node axis. It started last year. Eclipses, though, they're all about doorways into transformation. I don't know about you, but every time there's been an eclipse, either someone's left work, I've left a situation. I remember a few years ago it was in Cancer, and when I look back I was like, oh my god, I literally cut out loads of people in my life, or I realised who was being loyal and who was not, and I was like, guts to go. And it was all coming to the surface. Secrets were coming out, things like that. So unknown things come out, things about yourself that you don't know. It's not just always about other people, things that need to be cleared out. So it's always fated and destined for our highest good. So they herald endings, but they open up beginnings. That's why I really like eclipses, and it helps. So we're going to have Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be a big shift. We're going to feel this shift because, well, we've been in Capricorn for 15 years. By the way, Pluto will go back to Capricorn for a couple of months from September to November this year, and it will go in retrograde. So it will be testing us of what we have learned in the last 15 years. A few scenarios might come back up. Someone might come back up. A situation might crop up. Certain tests might come back up. And it's a way for us to really prove to ourselves, because that's all we need to prove to, no one else but ourselves, is that we've actually been doing the work, and we've got the wisdom and we know how to ride it. So, yeah. But back to the eclipses, they are a cycle of life itself. You know, they're always in motion, and they're forever changing and becoming, dying, rebirthing. It's all a cycle. So generally speaking, we meet 4 eclipses each year, and 2024 is really no different to what we would normally see. So, you know, the North Node and the South Node, as I mentioned, they connect us to a sense of purpose and destiny and soulful evolution. They hold a mystical energy in them. So the North Node is currently in Aries, so it's like where we're going in this lifetime. So think about where Aries sits in your natal chart. And the South Node in Libra, what are we letting go? Outdated beliefs, things that are kind of, we're coming from, but we've got to let go. So it's like a clearing of the South Node. And the North Node is the growth. If you imagine, you're growing to the north. And so it does bring about synchronistic events and moments that feel created solely for us. So pay attention. Pay attention to signs, to changes, to things that are coming up. And let me just talk about karmic lessons. If we are repeating the same cycle and we're looping, or we're not growing in ourselves and we're kind of holding ourselves back, we're keeping our heart closed, we're trying to control stuff, know that the eclipse is going to come, and most likely it's like tower moments. So the eclipse to me reminds me of the death card and also the tower card, judgment card in tarot, where sometimes the universe is like, you're not learning your lesson, right? I'm going to just do this now because you're not getting it. You keep doing the same thing. This is not for your highest good. So know that the eclipses, even if they feel turbulent, even if they feel disruptive, a bit like scary, it's going to always put you on the better path, on a better, higher trajectory for your highest good. So if we ever were to look up into our skies and have a look at the lunar nodes, you know, we'll get that feeling. Just think about it in that way. We'll continue this chapter of Aries and Libra, as I mentioned, in March, April and October. So they're held within them some invitations and reminders of inner courage, of balance with Libra, and to also claim life that calls our name and to leap into the very creation and living of what we desire. It's all about, what do we really want for ourselves? And there's always with the North and South node the conflict, or let's say the contrast. It's going to be our independence and need to channel more of who we are and ourselves, but also having interdependence, because interdependence is basically going, I can be in a community and I can be with a relationship or be with others, but I can still be myself. And it's trying to find the balance between the two, because Libra wants people to be together, and Aries, North knows that I'm just going to do it on my own. Leader, Emperor energy, I'm brown, forget about you lot. So it's about finding the balance between the two, because if we become hyper independent, which I think a lot of us in society have done, and many people do it because they've had very toxic relationships, trauma from family, and then they get hyper independent, but that's not healthy. That's actually controlling, manipulative, and we don't realize that we're doing that. So, and we're trying to avoid being codependent, but it's actually still distorted. So in order to relieve ourselves from codependency, we need to be interdependent, where we still are in our power, but we can connect with others and we can do it in a healthy way. And know that by being in a relationship or a family dynamic or in a group of friends or something like that, we are not losing ourselves. We just need the boundaries, we need the respect, and we need to be honest with ourselves first and foremost, give ourselves the love first and foremost, and then we can show up and do that in a healthy way with other people. So that's coming up, and I will do separate videos to talk through those eclipses. But the first one's going to be a Libra full moon lunar eclipse on the 25th of March. That's not too long away. I'll do a separate video, and I'll do channeled messages. But this is a real good time to, like, you know, let go and release and think about where Libra is in your natal chart. We will also be seeing the emergence of the Pisces axis come through, and Pisces will show his face, in September. There'll be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces in September. We also have an Aries new moon solar eclipse on the 8th of April. So wherever Aries sits in your chart, it's going to be a very magical and destined new beginning that's going to call in something very powerful for your destiny, for your future, in whatever house that is for you. Okay? And then we've got something else. Finally, Jupiter. So Jupiter, my favourite planet, my car's called Jupiter. Jupes. I miss you, Jupes. Jupes is probably like, no you don't, because it's just bloody cold in the UK and you don't really want to. Well, I still love Jupes. Jupes is very comfortable and beautiful, and Jupes joined the family last year. So anyway, enough about Jupes. The reason why I called him Jupiter is because he's just abundant and beautiful and spacious. So Jupiter has been in Taurus since last year May, and will continue to be in Taurus until until sort of April, and then we'll move into Gemini. Before he moves into Gemini, though, he will have a conjunction with Uranus. So Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and that's around April the 20th. And approximately every 14 years, the outer planets of Jupiter and Uranus come together in conjunction. And in 2024, it's going to be one of those years. So this is exciting. And when we have this meeting of the outer planets, it feels very significant. Like, there's Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, planets outside of the asteroid belt. they move relatively slow. So their impact reverberates, out into the world, reaching deeper to our lives and impacting in ways that we continue to unravel and figure out. So there's going to be like a very interesting thing. Look at where Taurus is in your chart, and where you have Jupiter as well, and yeah, Uranus is the planet of like unexpected events, things that you might have not seen, or you can't see coming, but it's clearing things. So it might feel chaotic, it might feel unexpected, but Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's of prosperity. It brings opportunity, optimism, hope. So, and then Uranus is the planet of change. It's a lightning bolt cracking kind of thing. It's liberation, it's innovation, it's boom, boom, freedom. So it's also about social awareness. So the meeting of the cosmos of these two, it's really abundant new energies, and it's an invitation to explore new frontiers, both collectively and within ourselves, and really just a new wave of liberation and freedom, both for society and for us. And look, Pluto's in Aquarius, like it's all happening, guys. You can't make this stuff up. Year 8, personal power, stepping into our power, abundant year, things manifesting, things coming to fruition. So as Jupiter invites this beautiful stream of faith and trust in life, letting things unfold, allowing it to go through, these energies will really be active from the 3rd of April to the May 7th. So stay tuned for that. I will probably cover a bit of that in one of the moon videos, where I talk about other sort of planetary movements. But it's only going to bring a positive spin for us, and allow us to go deeper and find more purpose. And then finally, Jupiter moves into Gemini, and this will be anywhere, Gemini's ruled by Mercury. It's all about, it's going to be shifting from Taurus, which was about stability, financial, home, creating like groundedness, and now moving to the Mercury rule sign of Gemini is all about free air. It's all about curiosity, intellect, communication, adaptability, social connection. And this is from the 25th of May until the June 9th. So it's really a chapter of intellect. It's a chapter of curiosity, learning, sharing, strengthening and building confidence in how we communicate and we socialize. And it opens the mind for inviting us of new ways of doing things and really connecting with others. So making the space. And Jupiter in Gemini really is going to expand the horizons of our mind, of how we think, how we want to develop our relationships, and adaptability and freedom. Find out where Gemini sits in your natal chart, and then you can work that out and see what that looks like. And it's going to be an expansive point for you, but expansive in terms of how you dive deeper and think and feel into things, but intellectualize and then communicate them. It's not just inward energy, it's about thinking and then speaking. So this can be really interesting. I feel like if you're doing a business or in a new job, or you want to learn something new, this is really expansive. Gemini is going to give you that like innovation and stimulation and motivation to really transform and translate the mind into speech. And if you really want to become a great public speaker, or you want to present more and things like that, and translate intellect into words and narrate more, it's a great time. Great time. I think I'm going to have to get on the stage a lot more in this time as well and make the most of it. So I'm going to wrap there. I just hope that those key updates will help you understand what's coming in the year. Those are the big ones. And so if you stay tuned to my other videos, I'll cover the moon cycles, and as I do, I talk about some of the planetary movements around the moon cycles, so you can get a bit more of a context. But I hope that gives you some insight, some motivation and some stimulation for planning your year ahead and how you're going to navigate, knowing it's a year 8. Don't forget to check out that episode. And with that being said, I'm going to love you and leave you. Peace, love, light, harmony. Swastiastu, as they say in Bali, but it's namaste as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Love and light.